Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're unpacking something I think many of us feel but maybe struggle to name. It's this paradox of being unseen.
It really is a paradox, isn't it? And it's such a common feeling. You can be right there, in a busy cafe or at some party, maybe even with family.
Yeah.
And yet there's this sense of being disconnected. Like
Yeah.
you're present physically, but somehow not quite felt. Like watching life through a pane of glass.
That glass image is so spot on. It's exactly that feeling like your words just bounce off somehow. Or people see you, they acknowledge you, but they don't really register you.
Mhm.
And it's weird because we're supposedly more connected than ever, right? All these online friends, constant updates. But that quiet ache, that feeling of being separate, it's still there.
And that's the absolute core of it, the paradox we need to get clear on right away. Modern loneliness, the kind we're talking about today, it isn't necessarily about being alone physically.
Right, it's not about the number of people around you.
Exactly. It's about a lack of presence, a disconnect. And crucially, it's often a disconnect not just from others, but from our own selves, lost in all the noise.
Okay, so if that's the definition, that ache, that feeling unseen, it can't be like a personal failing or some flaw in how we connect, because that's often how it feels, isn't it? Like we should just try harder, find more friends.
No, absolutely not. That's a really important reframe we need to make. From the perspectives we're drawing on, loneliness isn't a flaw. It's actually a signal, a vital human signal.
A signal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think of it like an invitation, or maybe a compass needle pointing towards something deeper. It's showing us where we might be misaligned, maybe where we're placing our sense of worth.
Okay, misalignment. Let's unpack that. Why do our minds seem so drawn to seeking connection in what you called the wrong places, like needing validation or just being liked on the surface? Why this constant urge to perform?
That gets us to the ego. And when I say ego here, I don't mean something bad or arrogant. Think of it more like an anxious guardian.
The anxious guardian.
Yeah, its primary job is survival. And somewhere along the line, it learned this belief. To be safe, I must be seen. To be worthy, I must be loved. So when you feel unseen, the ego kind of panics.
And its solution is more performance.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Make a better joke, seem more competent, be more agreeable. Anything to get that external recognition it thinks equals safety.
So all that effort, the perfect social media feed, always being on, the nonstop humor, helpfulness, that's just the ego trying frantically to guarantee its safety by being noticed.
Precisely. It's seeking connection through applause, through external validation, instead of recognizing the shared humanity that's already there underneath it all. It's looking outside for something that can only really grow inside. It's mistaken, you see, but its intentions are protective.
That really clarifies that ancient metaphor you mentioned, the one about the two birds. I found that incredibly insightful.
Oh, it's a beautiful teaching, isn't it? From the Pali Canon, imagine two birds on the exact same branch. One bird is just frantic, singing nonstop, fluffing its feathers, checking if anyone's listening, comparing its song. And it feels terribly lonely because its whole sense of self, its feeling of being okay, relies entirely on the reaction it gets. It needs applause for its song.
And the other bird,
The other bird is just quiet, resting. It accepts itself, its own nature. It doesn't need to perform. And because its sense of belonging comes from within, it's never truly alone, even if no one notices it.
That really highlights the trap, doesn't it? We mistake just being around people for actual intimacy. We swap likes for real love, closeness for genuine presence.
Exactly. And that's the subtle self-sabotage. The better the mask,
Right.
the more confident or funny or agreeable we appear, the more isolated we can actually feel.
Because now people are connecting with the image, not the real you hiding behind it.
Precisely. And this specific kind of delusion, this belief that love must be earned through performance, or that we're fundamentally separate islands, that's what classical Buddhist thought calls moha.
Delusion.
Moha tells us belonging is something we have to get by saying the right things, having the right image. But actually, belonging isn't something you acquire. It's something you remember.
Okay, but that leads to the real crunch point, doesn't it? If performing just isolates us more, what do we do when that quiet ache comes up? That whisper of, am I enough? Do they really see me? How do we handle that without just running away, filling the silence?
This is where the shift has to happen. A really fundamental shift in orientation. We have to stop treating loneliness like some kind of emergency that needs fixing immediately.
And start treating it like what?
Like a mirror.
Yeah.
Something to be gazed into. Instead of pushing it down, numbing it out, or trying to distract ourselves, the advice is actually to turn toward the feeling. with kindness, with curiosity.
So instead of locking the door when loneliness knocks, you're saying, open it, invite it in for tea. That feels really counterintuitive when it hurts.
It is. It's radically counterintuitive for most of us. But that is the core transformation. This is where practices like sati mindfulness and vipassana insight meditation come in. And these aren't just about sitting on a cushion.
Right, they're ways of paying attention.
Exactly. Ways of paying attention. We train ourselves gently to just observe the emotion, the feeling, without identifying with it.
Okay, but how do I tell the difference? When I'm sitting with that lonely feeling, how do I know if I'm observing it versus just wallowing in it, getting stuck in self-pity? The line feels thin sometimes.
That's a crucial distinction. When you're ruminating, the ego is usually narrating about the feeling, oh, I'm so lonely, nobody likes me, this always happens. It's building a story.
Right.
When you practice sati mindfulness, you're just noticing the raw sensation. Okay, there's a tightness here in my chest. Or there's a feeling of quiet sadness. You see the difference. The loneliness isn't me. It's like a weather pattern passing through the sky of your awareness.
A weather pattern, I like that.
And when we stop labeling it bad or shameful, it starts to lose its power to define us. It actually shows us where we're clinging, usually clinging to some expectation,
Yeah.
of connection or approval.
That clinging, that definitely feels like it makes the pain worse. Remind me of that snowball analogy you used. It really captures that idea of the ego's grip.
Ah, yes. Imagine you're holding a snowball. If your ego is desperate, gripping it tightly, needing the loneliness to go away now, needing company immediately, that tight grip actually melts the snowball faster.
Right, the heat from your hand.
Exactly. The clinging itself intensifies the discomfort, leaves you colder, wetter. But if you just hold the snowball gently, aware of its coldness, without grasping, it melts naturally. Gentle awareness relaxes the grip, creates space.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, this specific ache, this friction when we feel alone, that's a signal of dukkha, isn't it? That sort of fundamental unsatisfactoriness that points to being out of sync with how things are.
That's exactly right. Dukkha is that friction of resisting what is. But the ego is clever. It uses that friction to build a whole identity. I am the lonely one. I'm the one who always gets left out. It makes a home out of the wound.
And then complains nobody visits.
Precisely. Mindfulness, that gentle awareness, it's like the alchemy that dissolves the belief that the feeling is who you are.
It makes so much sense then why we often fear silence, fear stillness. The ego needs a stage for its performance. Take away the noise, the audience, and what's left. That feels vulnerable.
Terribly vulnerable. And yet, true intimacy, that deep sense of connection we crave, it actually thrives in those gaps.
Yeah.
In the stillness. This brings in the Japanese concept of ma.
Ma.
Yes. Ma is the beauty, the meaning found in the space between things, like the silence between musical notes that give the melody its shape, or the empty space in a room that makes it functional and beautiful.
So loneliness might sometimes come from a lack of ma, a lack of that space.
Often, yes. A lack of shared stillness, a lack of presence in the gaps. We're so busy filling every moment.
Okay, this is profound, but shifting from a lifetime of performing to practicing presence. That sounds hard. What are some concrete things we can actually do? How do we cultivate this ma, this real intimacy with others, and maybe even more importantly, with ourselves?
Well, when you're with other people, try this. Consciously practice listening, not just to formulate your reply or to link it back to your own experience.
Which is what we usually do.
Exactly. Instead, try listening simply to receive what they're saying, fully. Soften your gaze. Notice that almost automatic urge to jump in, to fix it, to tell your story, and just gently choose to be a witness instead.
Wow, just witness.
In that small shift, you stop chasing connection and you actually become the space for connection to happen.
That feels like a really powerful, subtle shift. Listening to receive. Okay. And what about when we're alone, when the silence feels huge and the separation feels most real?
When you're alone, the practice becomes one of radical self-compassion. Really radical. Sit with yourself the way you'd sit with a dear friend whose heart is breaking. Maybe place a hand on your heart. Practice metta, loving kindness, towards yourself. Don't fight the lonely feeling. Just acknowledge it. Maybe whisper inwardly, it's okay. You're not broken. You're just human. The ego softens through compassion, you see, not through fighting or rejecting the ache.
So if we pull all this together, the really mind-bending idea is that the moment we actually stop running from loneliness, it starts to reveal its hidden purpose.
Yes. It was never the enemy we thought it was. It was trying to protect us, usually through that illusion of control that performance gives. But when we meet it with awareness, it transforms. It stops being this personal wound.
And becomes
A window, a wide open window into the universal human condition. Everyone feels this sometimes, truly everyone. Seeing that brings incredible compassion. It's not a sign of separation. It's actually a sign of our shared sensitivity, the great equalizer.
So what does this do to that whole story we tell ourselves about being isolated, separate selves?
It dismantles it. The culminating insight really is that the sense of separation itself, that feeling of I'm me in here and the world is out there, that was always just a story, a very convincing story. The ego built for safety.
But not the fundamental truth.
Not the fundamental truth. The self isn't some fixed, isolated thing. It's more like a dynamic process, a flow.
Like the classic image of the ripple in the ocean that forgets it's made of water.
Exactly like that.
Hmm.
And loneliness is just the ripple's momentary cry when it forgets it is the ocean. Belonging was never something we had to struggle for or earn.
It's our birthright.
That's our birthright. You belong to life just by being alive. Like a tree belongs to the forest simply by being a tree.
Wow. Realizing that, it feels like it unlocks so much freedom. It means you can be alone without being lonely. You can be with people without feeling you have to put on the mask.
That's the freedom just to be exactly as you are in this moment.
And that freedom isn't somewhere far off. It's accessible now.
Right now, in this breath. So when that familiar feeling of loneliness washes over you again, and it likely will, it's human veth. Don't brace against it. Don't push it away. Try welcoming it like an old friend.
An old friend who's come back to tell you something.
Exactly. Someone who's traveled a long way to remind you of something important.
And the invitation for you, the listener, is maybe just to ask it that one question.
Yes. Ask it gently. What are you here to show me? And then just listen. Not with your ears necessarily, but with your whole awareness. Softened, open.
And this is where it gets really deep, doesn't it? Because the ultimate connection isn't necessarily about finding someone else who finally gets you.
Important as I can feel.
Right, but the deepest connection comes from understanding your own mind, seeing through that illusion of being separate.
It truly does.
Yeah.
And as you let that possibility settle, maybe sit with this final thought. If I'm not truly separate, then who or what is listening to this voice right now?
That's one to ponder in the quiet.
Just listen. The answer isn't really in more words. It's in the space between them. And that space, that quiet awareness, that's where true belonging begins.